Blast me to Calamus Skull. It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. Issue 75, Part 2, Gallery and Battle Report. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. So, as you may not know, I have been running a bit late with videos. I should be back on track shortly. I have decided, though, to do something a little different for the final 10 issues. So, instead of doing the battle reports alongside the issue, what I've decided to do is wait till all 10 issues have arrived and then have a campaign strung pretty much game after game. So I will do the reviews for all the magazines individually as usual, and then, like I said, I will run through the campaign once we have the entire collection and I can freely use all the units and models that we are getting, so we can string it together as a nice sort of cohesive story. So yeah, there's that. And don't forget, of course, if you've been enjoying the Mad Merlin's Imperium Journey, don't forget to, of course, like this video and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all future content. So here we have my second and final reactor, painted up in the standard magazine colour scheme that the first one has done. I think it's the best and it will match in nicely to all my other terrain. I am going to use some extra different coloured, setup pipes at the moment, as one set is painted up with a rust effect and it won't match into the awesome red scheme that we've got going here. But luckily I have some older pipes which are painted up in a very similar scheme. The only thing I may do at a later date is I have seen quite a few other people's paint jobs on this, and I've seen them do this bit here red, and that really does help the model pop a little bit extra. So may or may not go back and do that at a later date, but at the moment it's finished and ready for the battlefield. So we will see this in today's game, as it's a 75 power game using all 4 mats, and it's quite a nice one because it's actually set on the ships orbiting Kalmar's Skull. So I've got a rather mixed force, which is sort of like representing the reinforcements yet to be deployed on the surface. And yeah, the Necrons are going to be a nice invading force, mainly focusing around destroyer cults, so it's going to be quite fun to use. So then, let's take a look through the mission first, then we'll have a look at the 2 armies I'll be using, and of course we'll go into the battle report. One last dive then into issue 75. I haven't gotten around to filing away these magazines yet, but I will be shortly. So, here we have the mission for the issue. It is Veteran Mission 16 and is the Battle Above. So yeah, it's a desperate attempt for the Necrons to hassle the Imperial vessels that are arriving more and more each day at Kalmar's Skull. And they launch an assault from the surface using strike teams to board the Imperial vessels. And of course the Imperium defenders are having to push back against those invading Necrons. As I said, it's a 75 power game. We have a few special mission rules, so we don't follow the complete rules from Veteran Pack 1. We do have the following special rules. The Necron player is Player A, who deploys in this corner here in a 15-inch square deployment zone, where their boarding vessel has arrived, and then the Imperium get this sort of L-shape deployment zone, which is 6 inches wide, going along the long and short edge, sort of showing that they're on their ship and defending the breach. So yeah, the objectives for this game are sabotage, which the Necrons have as a special objective for this game. So one or more units from the army can start to perform this action at the end of the movement phase. The unit performing the action must be within range of an action marker shown on the map below. So we've got the 5 action markers there. Units must be in range of different action markers. The action is completed at the end of the player's next command phase. If by the end of the game, player A performs sabotage on 3 or more different objective markers, they are immediately victorious, otherwise player B wins. Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight, so the Necrons are going to be automatically on top of one of the objectives when they start the game, so they can sabotage straight away. But luckily we have 12 inches between each of the other objectives, meaning they have got a bit of a distance to go. We've got 18 inches from here and here, so I've got a few fast units on the Imperium side and a few units who can deploy in concealed positions, so I'm going to be making use of that, and yeah, going to be setting the battlefield up to be sort of like the inside of a spaceship. I think I'm going to use a few bits of terrain that aren't from the collection, just to help sort of set the theme a bit more. But yeah, looking forward to playing this game. So let's have a look at the armies I'm going to be using. We'll start with the Imperium army, and it is a pretty much mixed bag. I'm giving a few units that don't often get to see the light of day a bit of a outing. Okay, here we have my 75 power Imperium detachment. And yeah, it's broken down pretty much into 3 components. We've got the Vanguard Space Marines, we've got a small contingent of Battle Sisters, and all the AdMech pretty much. So, starting off then, Librarian here is going to be my Warlord for the mission. He has the target priority Warlord trait, and he has Temporal Corridor and Soul Sight in order to get units around the battlefield a little bit quicker. The Phobos Lieutenant is backing him up and won't be holding him in reserve. I'll be deploying him and the suppressors straight away to make better use of Devastator Doctrine. So yeah, moving on then, we got the Suppressors, Eliminators, Infiltrators, and a Fire Strike Server Turret, finishing off the Space Marine detachment. So the Server Turret sort of represents bringing the ship's guns to bear, which is going to be pretty fun. Then for the Tech Marines, Tech Priests, we have, of course, Dominus and Engine Seer, the 10 Skitarii, and 3 Cataphrons. I am hoping soon that I can build up another 2 Grav and 3 Plasma Cataphrons, and I'll field these guys as a unit of 3 Plasma and a unit of 3 Grav. So yeah, then I can have a fun little unit. So I can make better use of the Skitarii half of the collection, or quarter. Then finally, for the Battle Sisters, we've got the Canoness, who, while she would be the better choice of the Warlord with the Invulnerable save, I have gone for the Librarian because I wanted to try out some of the Vanguard Warlord traits. She does have, of course, Emperor's Grace, so she's a little bit more durable, healing herself a wound each turn, or D3 wounds I think it is. Then we have the Battle Sister Squad, Repentia and the Mistress of Repentance, the Archoflagellants, and finally the Penitent Engine, which I've just realised I haven't painted the flames on the brazier there. And there's quite a lot of other highlights I need to do on him. I still need to highlight, I think, purity seals and stuff. So you might have to go back onto the paint table shortly and get a little bit of a touch up. But there we have it. It's a pretty mixed bag, and it's just, yeah, a rather fun little army list. Not expecting to win, as the Necrons are proving to be more and more potent every game I play with them. But I'm hoping that I can at least give a bit of a decent fight. I might combat squad the Infiltrators so I can put them onto various other objectives and keep them defended. And yeah, I might even put the Infiltrators down in concealed positions as well. But yeah, going to be a fun little mission. Can't wait to play it. And yeah, right, let's take a look then at the Necron force. And here we have my 75 power Necron army, and it is quite the army. So, we have a lot to go through. So we'll start with the HQs. Leading the force is the Skorpekh Lord, who has Implacable Conqueror Warlord trait, which is the one that I think it adds toughness and wounds to him. Just having a quick look here. Reroll charges, that's the one. Then we've got the Plasmancer and a Chronomancer with Photonic Transsubjector. 2 units of Necron Warriors. 1 unit of 5 Immortals. Ooh, I'm sorry, I have Lich Guard. Hang on a sec. There we go, back. And yes, 5 Lich Guard with the War Scythes. 2 units of Skorpekh Destroyers, a Lone Plasma Sight, Crypto Thralls, the Death Marks, Reanimator, Wraiths, and Tomb Blades. So yeah, we have a lot. Oh, and a Locust Heavy Destroyer. So yeah, a big lot. So I'm going to be deploying as much as I can, but with the larger bases, it might not be able to get everything on. Anything else will be strategic reserved. The Death Marks will probably go transdimensional location, as will the Plasma Sight, just to save up a little bit of space, and they can pop out later on. But other than that, that's it. It's going to be a pretty much charge onto the objectives, kill anything and everything in the way, and hopefully win the day. Right then, let's set up the battlefield, and I will see you shortly. Here we are then, all set up and ready to play our mission for issue 75. I'll go through the deployment in a minute, but as you can see, I've used a bit of extra terrain. Rules-wise, the gangways are going to pretty much follow the same rules as a ruin, so breachable, +1 to your armor save whilst in the footprint, and scalable as well. The big furnace at the back there will act much the same as the heliotrope reactors, and of course pipes are pipes. Right, so we'll do the deployment first, and then I'll give you some dramatic reading. So right at the back there, we've got the Adeptus Mechanicus, and behind the blue container there, we've got 5 infiltrators plus the Phobos Librarian. Down here behind this container, we've got 5 infiltrators with the Helix Adept and Sergeant. Penitent Engine and Archoflagellants are over there. The Eliminators are on top of the gantry there. Down here we've got the rest of the Battle Sisters, so Repentia Mistress Canoness, and the Battle Sisters Squad itself. And you can just about make them out. There is the Suppressors, Primaris Lieutenant in Phobos armor, and behind them the Servo turret. And for the Necrons, in transdimensional location, even, I have the Death Marks and Plasma Sight waiting to come out on late game, hopefully when they're going to be useful. And, well, everything else has been deployed in the 15-inch deployment zone they have. So, Skorpekh Destroyers, Plasmancer and Crypto Thralls, Wraiths, Tomb Blades, 10 Warriors, 5 Immortals, Reanimator, 10 Warriors at the back, 5 Lich Guard, Destroyer, Chronomancer, Skorpekh Lord, and the remaining 3 Skorpechs. So we are battling over for controlling objectives, and it needs to be 3 different objectives, so I've put my fast units in a position to break out and go for the far off objectives as and when I can. And yeah, it's basically, although the mission does say you play till the end of the game, I'm going to play until they've scored their third objective, by which point there's no way the Space Marines can win except by total wipeout. And Necrons are pretty durable, so I doubt that's going to happen. So then, without further ado, let's have a little bit of dramatic reading, and then we'll get into our pre-game. The battle above. The Necrons possess few vessels, but each powerful beyond measure. Thankfully, the Navis Imperialis currently outnumbers and outguns the foe, and the Necrons have largely avoided direct combat. Now, in a stunning switch of strategy worthy of Marneus Calgar himself, the Overlord has ordered a lightning strike on the Imperial vessel in orbit. The villainous Necron noble believes the sudden assault will catch the Imperial defenders unawares. Scuttle the vessel. Boarding parties have been issued with simple orders. Destroy the Imperial fleet. The Necrons must fight their way to ammunition dumps, warp drives, and fuel storage areas, and sabotage them in order to cripple or destroy the Imperial vessels. Thus may the tide of the battle be turned in a single, precise assault. Repel boarders. Those troops still aboard Imperial vessels have been dispatched to secure key locations aboard their ship and ensure the Necrons cannot achieve their objectives. The boarders must be tracked down and destroyed, and vulnerable sectors of the ship secured against further Necron incursions. So there we have it. And yeah, so the Necrons are making a assault onto the Space Marines. They're going to try and sabotage the objectives. They need to complete the sabotage objective action on 3 different objectives by the end of the game. But like I said, I will end the game as soon as they've scored their third one, which is at the end of player A's command phase. So player A is the Necron player. There's no secondary objectives, and like I said, there's no way the Imperiums can win except by denying the Necrons the chance to score objectives and by complete wipeout. Right, let's get the pre-game sorted. So we got the pre-game move for the Skitarii, which I will use to get them a little bit closer to that objective. And then we've got our dice rolls and stuff to do. For the command protocols for the Necrons, we are going with Sudden Storm, so plus 1 inch movement, which is going to be much needed to get to those objectives. We are, of course, for the Space Marines in the Devastator Doctrine, so heavy weapons and grenade weapons get an extra armor penetration. Don't think I will chant any invocations, and I won't set any imperatives. So it's straight to turn 1, and I forgot, we need to find out who is going first. Necrons get 4, and they definitely do want to go first so they can start scoring those objectives. So here we go with Necrons turn 1, and of course they gain a command point. Here we are at the end of the Necron movement phase for turn 1. So Reanimation Beam and Chronometron went on the Skorpekh before they moved off. They got a nice advance roll, 3 for him, 3 for them, 3 for him, only a 1 for the Chronomancer. Lichguard got a 6 for their advance roll, so pretty cool. Warriors not so lucky, only getting a 2. These guys moved as normal, those guys just shuffled forward a little bit, and everything else moved as normal over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's on to the shooting phase, although there isn't a lot, just going to have the Tomb Blades open up and the Locust there as well. End of Necron shooting phase, and the Twin Blades have decimated the Skitarii. So they are going to need a morale test. And yeah, they're going to need a good number because they've lost 6 models total. 1 from the Plasmancer, and he's living lightning, and 5 from the Tomb Blades. And the Battle Sisters, they've lost 2, so they will need a morale test either way, but they're probably going to pass it easy peasy. And other than that, yeah, it's going to be on to the Space Marines, or Imperium's turn 1. Morale test for Skitarii. I sadly had to remove the Vox dude, because he was the furthest guy away and he would have been out of range. So, yeah, that is a fail. 4 plus 6 is 10. That's a fail by 3. So 1 guy runs away, and then we roll combat attrition for the remaining 3 guys. Ouch, that's 2 with -1. Oh, 3, all 3 get -1, but I get 2 1s. Yeah, I think I'll just leave that poor Arquebus on his own. He's going to be the only good guy left in the unit. Ouch. End of the Space Marines movement phase. The Suppressors and Phobos Lieutenant have moved up quite far. Phobos Lieutenant managed to get a nice advance roll, which kept him up with the Suppressors, which is going to be important for later. The off the side of the screen, the Fire Strike turret crowd walked 3 inches to get a line of sight on the Skorpeks. These guys shuffled out a little bit so that they can see the warriors. The medic can only see the Tomb Blades or Wraiths. Librarian moved out so you could see something for psychic power purposes. And other than that, everything else has stayed the same. All the Adeptosaurus stuff advanced, that's close combat orientated, while the bolters have just moved up. Right, moving on then to shooting phase. End of the Imperium's turn 1, because I'm not going to be stupid enough to charge into Skorpeks or Wraiths or anything like that. So during the psychic phase, the Librarian managed to get off Smite, dealing mortal wound to a Tomb Blade, and he got Soul Sight off on the infiltrators next to him, ready for when they are charged. So they got some nice rerolls for Overwatch, hopefully. And yeah, other than that, the Tomb Blades were wiped out, mainly thanks to the Grav dealing 2 damage a shot. Did kill 2 Skorpeks down here, but 1 reanimated. Thanks to reanimation being luckily, because the 4 up reanimate instead of 5 up. And yeah, other than that, there's not a lot happening for the Space Marines turn. So we're going to be moving on to Necrons turn 2. Into turn 2 then. So Necrons are going to Protocol of Conquering Tyrant, adding 3 inches to all our aura abilities. Space Marines are jumping into Tactical Doctrine. Might as well not bother with these, because there's only 1 guy left. Well, actually no, I will benefit him the Protector Imperative, so he hits on 2s this turn. So hopefully he'll survive until his turn. And for the Cataphrons, I will incantate the... Yeah, I think we'll just go for the Benediction of Omnissiah, so reroll hit, wound, and damage rolls. Or a damage roll. Miracle dice then for the Battle Sisters is a 5, going with the 6 I got last turn. So here we go then with Necron's turn 2. End of Necron movement phase then. The Lich Guard have started the objective action here. They got an advanced roll of a 2 originally, but I command re-rolled it into a 4. So that got them perfectly on top of that objective. All of these moved up normally. These guys got a 6 for their advance. Normal move, normal move, normal move, and well, that's normal move just over the pipes. Some of them had to go. Wraiths have moved up and are ready to shoot and charge the Phobos dudes there, hopefully. So moving on then, we'll go into the Necron shooting phase, and we need to start eliminating some Phobos units, I think. Rather epic shooting phase for the Necrons. So the trans-dimensional beamers on the 3 Wraiths killed 2 infiltrators. They can't see the infiltrators to charge, but they can still see the Librarian to charge. So that's going to really annoy Soulsight. There's one little infiltrator hiding behind the crate there. I shot the Immortals, the Warriors, and the Locust at him, and he's still alive, so it's going to have to be up to a charge. Oh, and he also shot them at them, and he's still alive. I've killed 1 and wounded 1 thanks to a combination of the Skorpekh Lord and the Chronomancer there. And other than that, everything else is either out of range or has no shooting. So moving on then, let's go to the charge phase. We've got quite a few fights. We're going to do this over here. Those guys over there. It's going to be yeah, I think I'll make that charge. Locust will hopefully charge into the remaining Phobos guy if he can see it. If not, the Warriors can just about see one on the corner there. So here we go then. Wow. Down to the wire here. So yeah, the Locust charged in and was able to kill that last Phobos guy, even with that 1 attack. He got through. Space Marines then interrupted with the Librarian, dealing a single wound. But after that, the Skorpekh Lord cleaved through with his Harvester on those 2 suppressors. And the Wraiths killed the remaining infiltrators over by the Phobos Librarian there. Not looking good. So anyway, it is down to the Space Marine's turn, and we need to really get something in range of that objective marker to stop him scoring. And we need to kill a lot of stuff. So here we go. Seeing as most of the action in the movement phase took place over here, we'll go over here. I've got to move the Archive Flashlights, I'll do that in a minute. So Repentio Engine moved down 8, ready to charge. Repentio Mistress moved in, urging her charges onward. Battle Sisters formed a line. Phobos Lieutenant moved out of the way of any potential incoming attacks, but he is now benefiting the rerolls on the Fire Strike turret. The Librarian fell back out of combat, so the Cataphrons going to open up on the Wraiths over there. So, no Psychic phase as the Librarian fell back, but let's move on to the shooting phase. Woo! End of shooting phase, and yeah, bye-bye Wraiths. The Librarian falling back was a good thing, because they opened up with Elimination Volley and Supercharged Plasmas as well, and luckily no ones, but I did blast those 3 Wraiths to the Cicatrix Maledictum, shall we say. And, oh, I forgot about the Eliminators. I did them before the fight phase, and I don't think he's in range, but I will see for the Volkite on the Dominus. But yeah, moving on to the fight phase, we've got a couple of charges down here to do. Hopefully we're going to do some damage to the Overlord and the remaining Skorpekh down here. So, moving on then. Okay, end of Imperium turn 2, and I'm surprised the Skorpekh Lord's still there. The Repentia scored really well on their wound rolls, mainly thanks to the Mistress there, giving them +1. But he super tanked his invuln saves, and only one got through for the 2 damage. I interrupted with him and slew the Pentient Engine with a Harvester Reach Blade before the Pentient Engine got a chance to put his attacks into me. Yeah, other than that, that's it for the Imperial's turn 2. Let's begin. Necron turn 3, and they score the objective there, and they need to now get to one of the other 3 objectives still left in order to try and win the game. So even though the Imperiums took heavy losses, they could win. I think that elimination volley from the Cataphrons really helped rip the... That's why I need to take the command point off. Really helped rip a hole in the Necrons' plans. But they do have the Skorpeks, the Immortals over there to deal with, and that's quite a lot of shots going to be coming in, and some attacks as well from the Skorpeks in combat. Yeah, and I haven't even got the plasma sight in yet, or the death marks, so I'm going to bring them in this turn in order for them to... Ooh, that's a point. I could bring them in right on that objective, actually, over there by the reactor. So, ooh, ouch. I think the Imperium have just left themselves open. But anyway, here we go with Necron turn 3. So we're moving into Vengeful Stars, so extra AP for shooting. We are going to move... there's no point changing doctrines, because... Actually, no, yeah, I will go to Assault Doctrine turn 3. So that does make the combat knives a little more deadly. And then I think I will go for... Shroud's Arm on the Mechanicus side of things. Miracle Dice is a 1. Necrons gain a command point. And we go to turn 3. Okay then, end of the Necron movement phase. The death marks have come down over there on the objective and have started the action, because reinforcements come before end of movement. Then pretty much everything else has just moved up normal, no advances whatsoever, so that we can get as many guys into range of guns, etc. as we can. I want to try and get vengeance on those Cataphrons. So, with that, it's time to move to the shoot phase, and then we'll see how things go. Alright, end of the shooting phase. The Plasmancer's Harbinger of Destruction went off, getting 2 mortal wounds on a Cataphron destroyer. The Immortals then opened up, getting 4 wounds. No, sorry, not 4 wounds. 1 wound through with an extra -1 AP thanks to Vengeful Stars. So he failed his invuln save, killing the remaining Mechanicum and Cataphron. And out of the 4 other wounds that got through, the Cataphrons managed to save 2 of them. No, sorry, 3 of them, putting the other guy down by 2 wounds for a total of 5 got through. Sorry. Yeah, the Reanimator and Locust opened up on the Archoflagellants, that's the ones, killing them. So sadly not able to get into combat. And yeah, that was pretty much all the other shooting. Everything else was pretty much out of range. So we're going to go into the charge phase. I'm going to try and get those Skorpeks over there into the Cataphrons. This Skorpekh down here will go into the Repentia. And that'll be it. So hopefully we can at least do some damage before the Imperium fight back. So at the end of the Necrons fight phase, it is yet a very different picture. So the poor Cataphrons didn't survive much over there. They died rather horribly to Skorpeks, who were infused madness. I didn't roll. Yeah, no, they're fine. Didn't roll a what to see if one dies. But no, they're fine, so they charged in, murdered them. Yeah. I charged the Repentia over here, even though they do it did grant them the rerolls to hit. The Skorpekh didn't do any damage. Two attacks got through. So I need a 6 up in Vol. I passed 1 and I got a 5. So using command point for Moment of Grace, I upped that 5 to a 6. So they managed to survive, but they didn't survive the Flensing Claw, even with a +2 to their armor save from Mr. Destroyer Lord there. End of turn, yeah, like I said, next command phase I will score with the death marks over there, unless of course that Librarian can come in and interfere with them. I was hoping that the Skorpekh would have been able to tie up a lot of units over there with a charge, but I didn't get big enough. I only got enough charge in order to get up and over the pipe and into base contact with the Cataphrons. But it is kind of still all to play for. If the Imperium haven't done any damage by the end of their turn, I will forfeit and give it a Necron victory. So here we go then, though, with the Imperium's turn 3. So movement phase wasn't a lot. Librarian has moved towards the death marks. Dominus and Engineer have moved a little bit just to interfere with the Skorpechs over there. And the Fire Strike turret has moved up 3, getting him a nice beeline to the Skorpekh Lord there. Time for the shooting phase. Oh, psychic phase first, and then the shooting phase. Yeah, I'm calling it game at the end of the shooting phase. I've done everything I can. Those death marks, thanks to sneaky removing of wounded models, are now out of sight of that Librarian for him to actually charge. So there's no point doing any charges over there. There's no point rolling to revive the Skorpekh Lord because he doesn't benefit points to the Imperium because there's no victory points in this game. And yeah, those death marks during the next Necron command phase, which is next, will just score that objective and win the game pretty much. So I'm going to concede it there. Yeah, I mean, had a pretty cool turn for that turn. Supercharging Plasma Pistol on the Bolt Pistol killed the last Skorpekh Destroyer. I was really surprised he failed his armor save on the Bolt Pistol, but not surprised he failed his armor save on the Plasma Pistol. And yeah, it was a combination of bolt guns and storm bolters. The storm bolters being 2 damage a pop. I got double 1 on the Skorpekh Lord's armor save with only 1 wound remaining. So yeah, he could come back on a 4-up. Let's just see. No, he doesn't. Wow. Okay, so yeah, he would be dead. But yeah, like I said, those death marks are sneakily hiding there and scoring that objective. Even if I do get, even if I couldn't have activated do the action, next turn I could get the Crypto Falls into range of that objective over there, and yeah, it's going to be a Necron victory regardless, I think, either way. So sadly, the Imperium vessel has been scuttled and left to die in orbit. Oh dear. So yeah, that's it for this video. Next up, we do have issue 76 with the awesome ATV. I have him painted, he's ready to go, and I also have the command barge ready to go. So I think this afternoon I'll be filming 77 and 78 part 1, and then he's ready for the battle report for 78. But yeah, as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm going to be doing things a little different when it comes to the final 10 issues. I'm going to wait till I have all 10 issues built and painted and ready to play with. then I'm going to string all the missions together in one big narrative. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because can't wait to see what the rest of the campaign is going to look like. I'm guessing there's going to be some smaller skirmishes on certain worlds and bigger skirmishes on important bits. So I will definitely be able to use Guilliman, hopefully, which he'll be used anyway in issues 80 battle report, because it's a big 100-point battle report. And technically I'm still sticking to my rule of I'm not using a unit until I have both parts for that unit. So that means as I'm doing all the battle reports issue by issue, I won't be able to use Guilliman in issue 79, but I can use him in 80 onwards. So there's a good chance we get to use him regardless in the campaign. So that's going to be quite cool. So yeah, if it turns out the Necron victory for the entire system, then it's going to be a reclamation campaign pretty much for the Imperium. But yeah, there we go, that's it. I've got a couple more videos posting up after this as well. I got to film. I have a couple of birthday videos. It was my birthday just Wednesday gone. I have a cool board game to unbox and look at, which is a nice nostalgia for my filling board game for myself. And I have the next issue of Merlin Makes as well, which is going to be a blow up kind of the previous Merlin Makes, which was the Microfighter Slave one. Tesco had the medium-sized version of the Boba Fett Starship. Sorry, not Slave one. They had the medium-sized version of the Boba Fett Starship, which has the Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. So I picked that up. It's half price, near enough. Treat for my birthday. I got that to build, and maybe eventually there'll be some super mega buildings coming on, as I do plan to pick up some of the Jurassic Park sets, or well, hopefully all Jurassic Park sets. And I will also plan to, depending on how well certain things sell on eBay, I may plan to pick up Rivendell, and I'll be probably doing that a bag of video. But yeah, I've blabbered on long enough now. It's going to be pretty much a 45-minute video. But yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, links, etc. in the description. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Imperium Journey.